What's up, guys? Happy Saturday, November 5th, 2022, man. I hope you guys are having a good Saturday afternoon. It is one of those sports days, right? College football. Maybe you're prepping for NFL tomorrow. We're thick of the World Series, man. It's a fun time to be a sports fan. Hockey as well. So we're focused on NBA. We're going to keep that going. But hopefully you guys are grinding whatever you desire and you're having success at it. Tonight we're going to try and grind a little NBA and hopefully come away with a sharp enough player pool to make some money tonight. Last night, news got crazy. It was down to the wire for me and some last minute decisions. I'm hoping tonight will not be as hectic, but that's the NBA, right? NBA DFS. One of the biggest edges is the ability to react to the news and adjust accordingly. Looking back at last night, Jason Tatum led the entire slate in fantasy points, and there was a moment in time where Jaylen Brown was downgraded to questionable out of nowhere, and I was ready to load up on Jason Tatum. And then I pulled back out when Brown got ruled in, and Tatum went out here and dropped 66.5 fantasy points, 36 real points, 12 rebounds. Giannis was number 2 on the board in fantasy points. DeMar DeRozan, number 3. Nice little run back to Tatum. Luka did his thing. Of course, KD, without Kyrie Irving, was probably my highest owned stud of the day. I was satisfied with what he put up, and that game got lopsided. So if that game was going to stay, if it would have stayed competitive down the stretch, might even got even bigger number out of KD. Larry Marketing with 55, Drew Holiday 54, Steven Adams a big one against Charlotte, 19 rebounds. Kind of like that going forward because I'm on Nicholas Claxton rebounds tonight. Kevin Love, big game. We kind of got a big splash of news from the Cavaliers when they ruled out both Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So anyway, a lot of big numbers last night. Hopefully tonight, a little bit more modest, a little bit more tame. It is certainly a little bit more manageable in terms of size of slate. But we're going to go through game by game here and try to get some leans, some ifs, if this, then that, and come up with a plan of action. I appreciate you guys making part of my day, be part of your day as you roll in here. Dr. DFS here. What up, bro? Kiefer in the chat. Jared Bell, Life of Sen, Conscious. Bell says that last 5 minutes for 7 tip-off as well, wasn't it, though? What up, Ayo? What up, Noble? What up, Gilbert? I hope you guys are doing all right today. And yeah, so I guess no need to waste time. Let's start with some news, right? Let's go get caught up on all the news. So via Underdog's Twitter account, if you guys aren't following them, you should be. Moments before I clicked the live button, Anthony Simons got ruled out. So my spreadsheet's actually going to still account for Simons being in. So we'll adjust that later. Bones Highland remains probable. The Magic starting lineup came out. That game's not on the slate. The key news to watch that they listed was Giannis Antetokounmpo questionable. It is a back-to-back. And I'm going to be honest, when I was punching in spreads, the spread for that Milwaukee game was just 6.5 against the Thunder. I mean, it sure feels like it would be, if I set the line, it would probably be little bit larger if Giannis was in. So something to watch. Terry Rozier questionable, Trae Young questionable. Trae Young's got an eye thing. Rozier's missed a slew of games now. Mitchell Robinson is doubtful. Got hurt last night. That'll probably open up Isaiah Hartenstein. T. Ross questionable. Quentin Grimes questionable. And then we got that Simons news. So that should catch us up for the most part. If you guys see anything before I do as it drops, man, let me know. Throw it in chat and we'll adjust here. So Horford got ruled out earlier. Probably expect that a lot in back-to-backs. Gordon Hayward got ruled out. That got me in trouble last night. One of my higher owned value plays on FanDuel was McDaniels, and it was not what you want. Unfortunately, it was not what you want. Joe Harris not on injury report. Seth Curry not on injury report. So help is on the way for Mr. Kevin Durant for scoring, right? What up, Kirsty? All right, don't tell me, Kirsty. You told me to call you something. I think I can remember it, but I can't. I want to say Hotwire. Was it Hotwire? I feel like I remember something like that. What up, Donnie Bone? What up, Jeff? Back-to-back from Milwaukee. Maybe why the spread isn't high. I think it's that and the Q tag on Giannis, and I would lean toward Giannis being closer to out than in. The only thing that would make me cautious is the fact that it's a home game, so I feel like if he could play, he would play, right? Oh, yeah, Rudy Gobert got ruled out, health and safety. Yeah, that's pretty impactful. Also, eerily reminiscent or ominous, I guess. I don't know. It takes it back. You guys know. If you know, you know. Anyway, let's talk about tonight's slate. While we do that, if you guys haven't already, hit that thumbs up. Let's get the vibes right. I don't know what we'll do as far as numbers on a Saturday go. Maybe we'll hit 100 viewers. That would be cool. But if we do, we don't. It's whatever. It's all good. Let's just jump into some action here. We have the Brooklyn Nets, the Charlotte Hornets. Nets on night 2 of a back-to-back. The projected starting lineup for the Nets, we're going to run back what we had last night with Edmund Sumner, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal, Nick Claxton, taking on potentially Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Bing Bong.
Adam Palmer super chatted $9.99. Sup, my brother, long time no see.
What up, Adam? I appreciate that. Hope you've been all right. The Hornets rolling out Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Jalen McDaniels, PJ Washington, and Mason Plumlee. I'm going to open up my second screen here to try and get the update on Rozier. It's one of those, I feel like he's always going to be closer out than in until he's finally in. But Terry Rozier is listed officially as questionable. He could make his first appearance since suffering the injury on opening night, which would be a welcome sight for both the Hornets and his fantasy managers. That's a blurb from NBC Sports Edge. So if he can go, that certainly shakes up a lot, as the Hornets have kind of earned new price points in life without him, such as Kelly Oubre, almost 7K on FanDuel. Dennis Smith Jr., certainly 7K on FanDuel, 6,600. I think you could spin this enough that there's still a range of outcomes where some of these guys spike, but I would like Terry Rozier to be out to feel a little bit more confident, because I'm also kind of pessimistic on how I would project Rozier minute-wise. So something to keep an eye out. The Nets, night 2 of a back-to-back. No Kyrie Irving suspended. No Ben Simmons. I don't need to really run the query here to tell you guys Kevin Durant's going to have all of the usage. Last night, I made the comment, and like after the first couple minutes, I was like, man, KD, you want to take part? It was like Royce O'Neal was popping off. I was like, all right, now let KD do things. And KD did things. He almost triple-doubled last night. 28 real points, 11 assists, 9 boards. And this game got away from him. If we go back to the minute rotation for the Nets last night, this was like a 40-point laugher. And Kevin Durant didn't have to play after 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. So you could argue that KD left some minutes out there, and I have him right now in my soft projections closer to 40 than not. Remember, Kyrie was representing amongst the most minutes per game in the league, and you could see the same with KD as he carries this team. So if this game stays competitive, and right now we're working with a 4.5-point spread in favor of Brooklyn, it's a real good shot that KD's going to lead perhaps all of the studs today in minutes played tonight. So KD's going to be an anchor in my lineups this far out. My early projections, I think I had KD leading the slate. Let me run that to double check. Yeah, he's up there. Comes full circle for Gobert. Now, wouldn't it be something if it was out and they were up against Utah? What up, Adoranzo? Hope you're doing all right. What up, Mike? Dang lazy mofo in the chat. Yeah, I got KD leading the slate in fantasy points right now, and that's without ruling out Giannis or anything like that. Works for me. Like the beats, the music level's right, dude. There was a baseball show this year when I was new to adding music to the background here. And boy, apparently it was like really loud, and you could almost hear the music more than you could hear me. So KD's gonna be an anchor. Another guy I like here is Nick Claxton. So I didn't quite know what to put on a minute projection here, but I think you can make the case that 30 plus minutes is viable. So I might come back and tweak it a little bit. Last night, we just looked at this minute rotation. Last night he didn't have to come. He didn't have to close out. He left with KD, and he played 28 minutes. So maybe 32, 33, 34 minutes were in his future, and we have watched centers absolutely obliterate the Charlotte Hornets, and this is a trend that we saw last year as well. And we just talked about the rebounds that what Steven Adams had last game, right? 61 fantasy points a game allowed to opposing centers throughout this young season. So that's a massive opportunity for a guy like Claxton. 6K on DraftKings, 6,100 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, I think he's in the similar area. I think he's just Nick on FanDuel. Give me a second. Nick, yeah, 6K. So similar price on both sites. So he'll be in my player pool for sure. I'm also a little bit interested to see what his rebound prop is on the on like PrizePicks. I was looking at his rebound prop this morning for No House Advantage, and it was 7.5. I want to say maybe 8.5, and felt like that was going to be a little bit too light for this opportunity. So let's go see if PrizePicks has a rebound number on him. They got him at 9.5, and I'm still okay with that, honestly, because I do think this game environment is going to be super beneficial for a guy like him. If we run the league in terms of pace, Charlotte is top 6 in pace. Brooklyn is below league average, but in this scenario, we can see them pushing the pace a little bit more. And then another thing that I like about this, Charlotte not only being top 10 in pace, but they're also bottom 6 in offensive efficiency, meaning they're not hitting at a high clip. So more missed shots, more rebound attempts there for Nick Claxton. So I maybe could dabble with some Claxton rebound props. And then maybe if we thought the game could get away, maybe we could chop that into the first half for Mr. Claxton. What do we got Claxton first half? We could just throw a blanket over fantasy. 12.5 PRA. So maybe I'd stick to the full game. What is their full game projection here? Claxton is at... They don't have a fantasy point prop for him. Okay. So they am playing for 23.5 points and rebounds. All right. Well, I'm going to play him in DFS for sure. Him and KD are going to be staples here. And then the Hornets, if Rozier was down again, I'd be interested in DraftKings shares of Dennis Smith Jr. and Kelly Oubre as well. If Rozier was in, and if we could get some guidance on positive minute projection, I'd be semi-interested, but I would probably feel like a lot of these prices are more than I would like to pay. But should be a good game to target if Rozier's down. Thoughts on Cam Thomas was good yesterday. Cam Thomas did close out the entire fourth quarter, and that was pure garbage time. Had 8 points in the closeout, had 4 assists and 2 rebounds. So 14 peripherals, or I guess 14 stats in arguably full on garbage time. So you'd probably have to asterisk what he did produce. And then Seth Curry, right? Seth Curry might play today, and I wonder if that would, be a net negative. So I have Thomas at, I don't have him at a big projection, but I think it's because I didn't quite know what to do with the Curry news. So I would say if you got that feeling in your bad knee on Cam Thomas, go for it. But I think if you look at what he did yesterday, there's an argument to be made that it was half of it in the fourth quarter, which was a 40-point game. So maybe we'd taper our expectations a little more. Prior to that, we're looking at 1 minute. But with Kyrie Irving suspended, it's not that he won't get opportunity here. It's just there is certainly a wide range of outcomes for not only his minutes but the results based on the scoreboard. So I probably won't have him unless some more definitive news opens him up, if that makes sense. What up, Mighty Saint? What up, Ant? You think Kyle Anderson starts and Towns moves to the 5? I definitely think that's possible. They still have Naz Reid, but I think Naz Reid, if I remember correctly, him and Jared Vanderbilt last year were like 25-minute high foul guys. I'll double check when we get to that game. If it were me, I would probably want to stretch out Cat and get a little bit more oomph there to have a reserve, and then use a guy like Kyle Anderson. So I think that's very possible. But I have seen some sites project Naz Reid as the starting center, but it's up in the air for sure. Any tips for building a single entry line? Single entry, depending on how many entries are in it. So like if it's a $1 single entry, but you still got to beat 50,000 people, lineups, then you still be contrarian. But for the most part, if you find yourself into like a $10 or $20 single entry where there's 500 less entries, maybe even 1,000 or less, you don't have to get too crazy. You don't have to be too risky with it. You can kind of approach it like a cash game, but then like 2v2, some pivots to some pivots that are going to be less projected owned, if that makes sense. So for instance, tonight, and this is not necessarily, don't hold this up later, but like tonight, if Kevin Durant was your highest projected owned 10K player, you could pivot him to like a Trae Young who has a similar ceiling, at more than likely less ownership with a higher game total, right? And I haven't looked at ownership, but that's what I'm getting at, is if you're going to attack those single entries, you don't have to get too cute. Like Trae Young's not an astronomically crazy play, but if he's going to come in at a lesser percentage of ownership than a guy like KD, well, then that makes sense to kind of lean there and just be that much or that little different to stand out. You usually don't have to have a bunch of 1%ers to win a single entry. What up, King of all trades? Hope you're doing all right. Pelicans at the Hawks. Speaking of the Hawks, by the way, just only one game at lock here. So if you are the type that sweat crunches here, you really only have to make your first game decisions, and then you can late swap optimize as we get more and more news as it develops. And then a 7:30 tip brings us some more action that I want pieces of. Pelicans at the Hawks. Project 35 for the Pelicans. CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, Jonas Valanciunas taking on Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. A 230.5 total, and the Hawks favored by 1. Trae Young is on the injury report. We got to keep an eye on his status. He had an eye thing. A left eye contusion is what they have it as. Trae Young said he would be fine, but it looks like he's in danger of missing Saturday's contest. So nothing to sway that closer to yes or no. The fact that the Hawks, are home favorite here against what looks like a pretty healthy Pelicans team makes me think that he would be closer than in, but that's just tinfoil hat, Vegas knows I don't stuff. If Trae Young does miss this game, it's going to make DeJounte Murray look like an incredible play. He's already somebody that's not off limits for us. And then this total is going to give us an opportunity to lean on Trae Young for real points, I think. I think if the Hawks drop 115 to 120, Trae Young is probably contributed almost 30 of them. And then on the Pelican side, this is the harder part to call, in my opinion. I think the Pelicans are all really appropriately priced for when they're all together. A big 3, borderline big 4, where 40 fantasy points is kind of what we're looking for at each guy in a vacuum. And that's like a modest return to be an impact play in tournaments. So stocking stuff for 40s. And I think what I would do here, and what I've often done in big 3 situations, is I might just put them all in a group on Fantasy Cruncher. That way I prevent overlap between, like, I don't want like all 3 to fall, but I also could just limit 2 Pelicans per lineup. But it's one of those situations where I don't want none because of the total, because of the matchup. But I do worry about the ability of a couple of these guys coexisting at a ceiling clip. So what would make the most sense? Let's go pull up New Orleans. And let's just kind of see how things have shaken out so far this season when they're all on the court together. They all do play big minutes, and like I said, if you got a spot 40 out of any of these guys that you rostered, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But it's certainly on these slates, I like to milk as much ceiling as I can for my 7-8K players. We've got 50 to 60 minutes of sample size of this big three on the court together, all about a fantasy point per minute, usage rates, Ingram 1, Zion 2, and McCollum 3. So we would probably create a hierarchy that's a little similar, although Ingram's point per minute production is actually less than McCollum's, but I think that is I think that's just due to his usage being missed shots, whereas McCollum has a higher assist rate, 20.5% assist rate. So I guess I would go Zion as the 1, Ingram as the 2, McCollum as the 3. And looking at the overall projection, I have Zion at 39, Ingram at 36.7, and McCollum 3. So the projections kind of agree with that assumption or assessment. So I guess what I would do, let me pull up Cruncher, just kind of aesthetically display this exercise. I could probably achieve what I want to achieve by just capping Pelicans to 2 in a lineup. But the idea I was thinking to just kind of robotically achieve what I'm looking for is maybe put McCollum, Zion. Let me just, I don't know, if there's no value plays in this group, then maybe I'll just cap it at 2 per line. But maybe we can pinpoint J-Ball. I could do at most 2 of these 3, but I feel like that there's more negative leverage or negative correlation between McCollum's big game and Ingram's big game. So maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I just one of McCollum or Ingram. All right, I'm sorry, chat. My mind just like took me to a whole different place right there. And then something to watch for on Jonas Valanciunas. If we look at that last Pelicans game, I believe Larry Nance closed out over Nance played the whole fourth quarter, and J-Val didn't touch the court. Now, that might have been circumstantial for this Warriors game, but something to watch for. He didn't close out in the fourth quarter either in the Lakers game, and Nance did. And then the Clippers game, Jonas Valanciunas, a little bit of playtime in the fourth. So back-to-back games where Nance closes over J-Val. Just something to watch. And the reason I say watch it is because maybe going forward, we'd be able to take the under on second half props for J-Val on PrizePicks, and then maybe their projection wouldn't be weighted correctly, and we could maybe take the over on the first half stuff. Right now they have him at 13.5 fantasy points first half, and if we look at the last couple games, first half, J-Val, he's getting decent run in the first half. So maybe that would be like last year's Steven Adams spot, where we would kind of be over on this guy's first half numbers and under on the second half. Just I don't know, just thoughts. Any player prop tips for the night? Man, CJ, I'm just kind of open book researching right now. Early on, I wouldn't hate a shot at Nick Claxton rebounds. We looked at that game. This one, I don't really have a strong lean. If you're on a no house advantage, I think they had an assist line for the Pick'em game of 5.5 for DeJounte. DeJounte's averaging almost 8 assists per game as is, and there's a chance that Trae Young, even if he played, maybe it wouldn't be 100%. So I guess maybe I just closed out the spreadsheet. Maybe there would be a case for DeJounte props, or DeJounte props, DeJounte assists maybe. Let's go look. DeJounte. They don't have an assist prop. Oh no, it's first half. I gotta get the spreadsheet back up. They have him at 8 assists, so that's closer to the average. But if you let the game total kind of do the talking here, it would kind of support him. He had a 30% assist rate this season when he's on the court, so I might lean towards DeJounte assists over, based on this game script, the game total being what it is. And then if we look at the offensive rating for the Pelicans, 116 points per 100 possessions. That's one of the best in the league. It's not the best, but it's up there. Give me a second. Spreadsheet's loading back up. Here we go. That's third best in the league. So Hawks gonna have to keep up with that. The pace is gonna be neutral, but I think I could lean towards DeJounte assist. And if you didn't want to sweat assists specifically, DeJounte is such a do-it-all guy that the 43.5 fantasy points is intriguing, because we know stocks are a big part of his game, and it's not unlike DeJounte to give you 9 to 15 points alone just from steals. So might leave that in the blender as well. What is the turnover rate for the Pelicans? It's not bad. They're giving up some blocks though, but the steals per game allowed isn't that crazy. It's not great, but let's see, steals per game allowed. Pelicans they're almost top 10. We'll take it. Volume is low today for my voice, or is it in contrast to the music? Anybody else dealing with that, or am I just mumbling? Let me look at okay. Yeah, I'm not peaking. Maybe I'm just not talking loud enough. I'm sorry. I'll try and talk louder. All right, so player pool is going to be Trae Young, DeJounte for sure. Collins is intriguing at both price points. He'd probably make a tier 3 list for me. And then we've already kind of discussed how we're going to approach the Pelicans here. So let's move on from that game and get to the next one. Donnie says music is a little loud potentially. All right, we'll fix that. Easy fix. Appreciate that, Josh. How does this sound? Jamal Murray, DeJounte Murray, Chris Paul, Claxton starting 4. I don't mind DeJounte. I like Claxton. I don't mind Chris Paul. I think sometimes I worry about Chris Paul on back-to-backs, but that one being home and home and Portland stealing wins like they are, I could see him still getting his minutes in that game, still being competitive. So I don't mind that. What was Chris Paul? Is that for DraftKings or FanDuel? And is that for like your single entry? Chris Paul 7-9. I'm not that enamored by Chris Paul, but I do think 40 plus is more in line with what I might expect from him. He only took 4 shots last night. That's crazy. You guys see the stat? He's gone 3 games with just 1 turnover and like almost 40 assists. That's crazy. The GOAT. DraftKings. All right, I would probably want to go into battle with KD in single entry, but that's just me. Celtics at the Knicks. Project starting 5 for the Celtics. Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Noah Vonleh taking on Jalen Brunson. Evan Fournier, but maybe not. Quentin Grimes is questionable. RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Mitch Robinson got hurt in that last game. Hartenstein kind of came in and picked up. And then Quentin Grimes, who started over Fournier in that last game, also questionable. So see if we can get the official word on those two. We do know that Al Horford is out for the Celtics, and we're still waiting on Robert Williams to make his return. So we have a front court in Boston that potentially gives us a little bit of value, but we've seen this kind of a few times this season. So we'll go back and look at the previous minute rotations on them, and maybe get a list or a lean on where to go, because I think that there's a better value play on the other side of the same game when it comes to getting an opportunity. Mitchell Robinson limping around the first half of last game before picking up his 3rd foul, went to the back, and that was that. So looks like he has a flat tire, so I wouldn't expect him to play. He's listed as doubtful. Quentin Grimes, sore left foot, listed as questionable. This has been bothering him since the preseason. It's the reason he's only played 2 games thus far. Grimes replaced Evan Fournier in the starting 5 last night, but didn't hit his only shot taken in 15 minutes. All right, cool. If he's out, Fournier could return to the starting lineup, or Tom Thibodeau could try something new, as Fournier was the 4th guy off of the bench. So maybe we see some Reddish, some Quickly, some Derrick Rose, Obi Toppin. He gets crazy. We have also seen Miles McBride get an opportunity in the past. So either way, like, I think it's a non-factor. I'm not that enthralled with the situation with who would play those minutes for Fournier or Grimes. It's just it's going to be very volatile, I'll say that. The bulk of my interest here is going to be coming into the Hartenstein price point on DraftKings. This guy, even looking back at last year, we've said it. He's not Jokic, but he's Jokic-ish. His production while he's out there is really, really good. You wonder if it takes a little bit of a hit, sharing the court a little bit more with guys like Randall and Jalen Brunson, but I'm not that concerned at that price point. And it bodes well for him that the Boston front court is limping as well. So looking at Hartenstein, when he played alongside Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle in the third quarter, we got a 26% usage rate, so that's really good. 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 stocks, and that's right up his alley. So I think on DraftKings, Hartenstein is looking like one of the better value plays, points per dollar, and I'm getting a stupid busted projection on him right now, but I'll probably try and humanize that down to like 30, but 30 fantasy points at that price point, I'm taking on either side. So I'm way more inclined to lean on the Knicks front court value than the Celtics front court value. Celtics, night 2 of a back-to-back. Brown, Tatum, spin the wheel, make a deal, put him in the Garden. Big game from Tatum last night. Both these guys are putting up incredible per game numbers. 25 points per game for Jaylen Brown, 31 points per game for Jason Tatum. I wouldn't fault you for taking shots on either one of them. I'm getting a solid projection on both of them. I typically go one or the other in my builds and prevent the overlap and just kind of bank on their ceilings not coexisting. So that's probably what I'm going to do again here today. And generally speaking though, versus what's on the board elsewhere, the pace of this game should be down. The Boston Celtics bottom 10 in pace, New York Knicks league average in pace, so neutral to down. So I'm not going to be too enthralled here, but I will get some shares of Smart, Brown, Tatum. With the rule between Tatum and Brown, I'll be all over Hartenstein on DraftKings. We'll be there on FanDuel as well. I'll take a 5.1K power forward eligible solid play. And Randall's giving me about a 40 fantasy point projection. Jalen Brunson's about 35, so I'm not too enamored with those two. But Hartenstein certainly looks like a really, really strong play, right? All right, next game, Thunder at the Bucks. Project starting 5 for the Thunder. SGA, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Jeremiah Robinson Earl taking on Drew Holiday, Jevon Carter, Grayson Allen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. 220 total, 6.5 point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis finding himself on the injury report today with a Q tag. And that's notable because, like I said, I don't know if I priced the Bucks as just, single digit favorites here normally, especially against a team like the Thunder. And the Thunder they're always going to overperform, but I just feel like the Bucks just get more respect than that usually. So it makes me feel like there's at least a room for Giannis to be down. I'm trying to check the injury report here. I'm not seeing a real injury. It's just rest. Giannis is questionable against with left knee soreness. Says this could be a good spot to get him some rest. Second leg of a back-to-back. If he's out, both Jordan Noir and Bobby Portis would get a boost. So if Giannis was down, I would still put the Bucks as favorites, and then that would just amplify usage and expectations from Drew Holiday and then Bobby Portis. So yeah, I'm going to plan as if he's out. But that's just based on the floating Q tag and the spread. And maybe I'm overthinking it. But that's how I'm going to approach that. SGA. I think SGA is like one of the only players to have 30 points in every game this season. 30 real points, that is. Oh, outside of that one Clippers game. All right. So averaging 32 real points per game. He's almost 10K. Needs 50. 50's been a strong probability when you look at his game log. So I wouldn't fault anyone for taking shots on him. I do feel like that price, I'm just going to invest a lot of that in KD. And I know that's probably the chalkier approach there, but that's just what I'm going to do. The Thunder, was it that last game? They made a mid halftime change. Let's see. Hopefully Tibbs Hartenstein get the full run, not put Obi at the 5. I think no matter which way you slice it, Hartenstein's likely to still have a beefy minutes projection, but we'll see. So that last game, at half, the Thunder benched Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Pokusevski and rolled out Muscala and Baisley. And I've been saying it all year, man. The Thunder rotation, what they're going to do, are they tanking, blah, 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 blah. It's been unpredictable, and we saw that mid-game adjustment last game. So I can't see myself ever playing Thunder players not named Josh Giddey or SGA unless there's absolutely no other choice for me. So that's probably going to be my approach here, is Giddey and SGA only, and then I think they're efficiently priced that I'm not extremely enthralled anyway. If Giannis was out, we'll do a on-off here, and we'll date it to like last year just to have an official number. But you guys would probably assume that Jrue Holiday's per minute production is through the roof without Giannis, without Middleton. So, excuse me, let's put Jrue on. And Drew's been really rock solid so far this season as it is. This would just be that much better of a spot. Jrue Holiday might get promoted to a tier. Yeah, he might be tier 1 levels at that price. If we get Giannis out, he's playable no matter what. Since the beginning of last season, with Giannis and Middleton off the court and Jrue Holiday on, Jrue Holiday has been a 1.4 for DraftKings points per minute, 1.4 on FanDuel with a 37% usage rate. That's what you want. And just to maybe isolate this season to maybe get some of the noise out, Jrue Holiday's continued that 1.4 fantasy point per minute production. So yeah, probably would be a tier 1 option for me if Giannis did get rolled out. Jrue Holiday in the guard spot. See what you guys got. What's up, Crispy? I love SGA, but against Holiday, I don't know. I usage for me trumps matchup. Like Jrue Holiday, obviously great isolation defense guy, but we've seen people get around it, right? I think something we see in the chat a lot is Kevin Porter dropped 50 real points on Jrue Holiday. I wouldn't let it push you out. I think the price is efficient, is what I would say on SGA. That's what would push me away more than the matchup per se. And it doesn't hurt that he's part of a team that just is so tilting. But at that price point, $10K would go a long way towards the Kevin Durant, towards Trae Young if he plays, the guys below him, DeJounte, stuff like that. So I'm not going to sweat SGA breaking the slate. You certainly could, but that's what's keeping me away more than Jrue Holiday defense. But yeah, the Bucks overall defense has been solid anyway. Ibaka season, man, I don't think I'm putting makeup on. Did Ibaka play much last night though? He's another guy I worry about. I would really be hyper focused on Jrue Holiday and Bobby Portis, but I guess there's so much usage to pick up some slack for that anyone we can throw some minutes on might be all right. Ibaka DNP'd last night. Has that been a consistent trend? Let's see. Against the Pistons, Ibaka played 5 minutes in pure garbage time. And then the other Pistons game, Ibaka played a little bit. I don't know. Even if Ibaka played, I probably wouldn't be comfortable on a minute projection unless he was like announced starting. You can certainly make a case that he DNP'd last night to be ready for tonight, like it was a planned thing. But that's just speculation. I don't know it. So I don't want to push that narrative unless they do it first, Porter and White or Green and Murray. Is that Michael Porter and Derek White or Green? Which Green? Jamichael Green? Jeff Green? I don't know which Green. And Murray. And are you talking DeJounte Murray or Jamal Murray? 100K Ibaka. 100K to first Ibaka? Yeah. 20 entry max? No. 50 lineups? Probably not. I would really like to see Ibaka in a starting lineup. If, like I'm not going to play Ibaka, but if I wanted to play Ibaka coming off a DNP in a game where he only played garbage time, I would really need to see him in the starting lineup to want to put my money on him. Jalen Green. So Jalen Green. So the question is Jalen Green and Murray. All right, which Murray? Is Giddey a lock on PrizePicks under 6.5 rebounds? I don't think I would. I don't think I would want to sweat that, not knowing the Giannis news. I thought Giddey used to get rebounds like that too, though. Is that more of a? Let's see. Why is that happening? He was a prolific rebounder last year. Mike, appreciate the sub, man. Welcome aboard. Thunder. I don't want to guess what Giddey. I just don't want stake on the Thunder here. Justice wins like triple double tonight, maybe. Simons is out. We can run back last night's rotation, maybe. All right, speaking of Jalen Green, next game on the docket, Minnesota Timberwolves hosting Houston Rockets. Project 25 for the Rockets. Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, Kenyon Martin, Alperen Şengün taking on D'Angelo Russell, crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Karl Anthony Towns, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, and Naz Reid. You can hate me now, but maybe not. The T-Wolves have some flexibility on what they can roll out, especially if the Rockets come out a little small. We could see them. You mentioned Kyle Anderson. I believe somebody mentioned Kyle Anderson earlier. We could see them stretch out. They could use Taurean Prince at the 4. They could do some things, right? They can make things happen. So don't be too committed to the Naz Reid starting at the 5 thing, but he should get some minutes here in the absence of Rudy Gobert no matter what, which makes him another strong value play and makes me less likely to want to play Noah Vonleh. 233 total, 7.5 point spread in favor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. It should be noted that Rudy Gobert was ruled out earlier today, health and safety protocols, and without him in that front court certainly weakens their interior defense and probably their overall defense. Now, I don't know a efficient way to search this would be this season, but I do wonder if let me see stat moves. So let's go Timberwolves defensive efficiency this season overall. So it's 109.8. Now I don't know for sure if this is gonna work, but just out of curiosity, season without Rudy Gobert. So 109.8 altogether without him. 112.6. Wait. Oh, that was last year. Okay. All right. So didn't work, but nonetheless, we can infer that this defense is not going to be the same without one of the most prolific defenders in basketball in the front court. And if that's going to happen, maybe the Rockets hang around a little bit longer, a little bit stronger. Maybe it's not as bad of a matchup for Şengün, KJ Martin, guys like that. The Karl Anthony Towns projection for me is coming in pretty solid. At sub 9K last year, I think that's a price point I would be running to play him. I guess we can use a little bit of NBA Wowie over at Add More Funds and see if we can get a lean this season. And then we can also just look at how they performed the entirety of last year without Rudy Gobert. So let's keep it this season. Let me just put Cat on and Gobert off. There have been games. We'll just do that. Cat on, Gobert off this season. 1.57 fantasy points per minute for Cat with a 32% usage rate, and then a total rebound or a defensive rebound rate of 20.8%. So he does pick up some rebound boost. Let's put Gobert and Cat on the court at the same time. See what that does for Cat's numbers specifically. Cat's at under a fantasy point per minute, and his rebound go down a little bit. So so far in short sample, Cat has really enjoyed not only a permanent boost on fantasy scoring, but a usage boost as well. So that's good news. And then looking back to just like last season, since the beginning of last year without Rudy Gobert, Cat was a 1.34 fantasy point per minute guy anyway. We could put Russ, we could put Ant on the court with him as well. And it's probably still going to be over 1. So this usage boost, yeah, Cat led the team, almost 1.3 fantasy points per minute in that split last year. So all things are looking really good for Cat. Now, we say that the situation for him without Gobert is great, but so is the matchup. The Houston Rockets come into this game as one of the worst defenses in all of basketball. We sort the league from defensive efficiency to worst to best. Houston is bottom 10, 114.8 points per 100 possessions, and they also run at a elevated pace, almost top 10 in pace as well. So up in pace, down in defense. Big spot for Karl-Anthony Towns to pop off here. And in the full slate projections, Cat made himself known. I had him top 4 in fantasy point projections, and that's not withstanding the Giannis Antetokounmpo news. So he could be top 3 when it's all said and done. So Cat's going to be an apple of my eye tonight. Yeah. On the Rockets side, when Eric Gordon's in, this team does have a little bit more ability to kind of vulture each other and troll me, but I'm still liking the individual projections I'm getting on KPJ, Jalen Green, so I'll probably rotate those guys, and I'll probably have to start correlating those guys in groups on Fantasy Cruncher just to kind of like get the stuff that makes the most sense. But there's certainly no reason to not be on this game. One of the highest totals. There's a lot of 230 games today, and there's some really good upside in this spot as well. Gordon's good, right? Always have to check. 33-30, and he had a couple days off. So you talk about range of outcomes. Look at Eric Gordon's game log: 9, 25, 32. He had the fakest. He's been getting stocks like crazy. Somebody, I want to say it was Gordon, but it's not. I would really like if Eric Gordon sat today. Let's see, what could the T-Wolves do? Oh shoot. Let me pull up Wowie and then look at a couple of minute rotations. Or I already have Wowie. What's up, Jim? Top 5 on this slate, playing only 4 lines today. So off the top of my head right now, I've just talked myself into a lot of Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm kind of leaning, and this is so far out, I'm kind of leaning Giannis being out. So I would really like Drew Holiday. And then Kevin Durant looks like a stone cold lock for me. So I'm loving those 3. Isaiah Hartenstein's looking like a really good value play. So I'll probably have to put him in the blender. So those are 4 names I would start you off with. And we'll go from there. What was I doing? Let me find rotations for the Minnesota. See what kind of lineups they've been rolling out. By the way, Rudy wasn't injured. He just his health and safety, which is kind of crazy since he played last night. It's just like it doesn't make sense to me. Colin Anderson. Let's see, when Rudy checks out, looks like Colin Anderson comes in and Cat plays the 5. And then Naz Reid checks in when Cat goes off. So there's certainly rotations that they use right now where Kyle Anderson checks in. Man, they use Anderson for everything because there's a little gap last night where it was Slow-Mo, Gobert, and Cat. So they definitely have a lot of versatility. As a matter of fact, they closed with something similar. Cat, Gobert, Anderson in the 4th quarter instead of Jaden McDaniels. So Anderson could be used from 4 and 3. And then Naz Reid with Gobert. Yeah, and then Naz Reid has been on the court for one or the other. So they have some ranges of outcomes. And I think against the Rockets, you don't have to get super, super big anyway. So we'll see what they roll out. We're having fun. Man, Jalen Green, holy reply time, Batman. I don't mind Jalen Green, Emmy. I do think that the T-Wolves defensive rating will take a step backwards. So we could, it could be at 112. And then this could be a track meet game, you know? So I don't mind Jalen Green. I just need the Rockets to keep up, and I think that's fine. I think a rested Rockets essentially taking on a T-Wolves team night two back-to-back without their best defender. I think that's fine. I think I like them to stay close. Nuggets hosting the Spurs. Next game on the docket. Danny, appreciate that sub, man. Welcome to the channel. Project starting five for the Spurs: Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sochin, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Jamal Murray, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic on the Nuggets side. 235.5 total. Another big total. 11.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Denver Nuggets. So one of the remaining double-digit spreads to discuss, and that does create a little bit of pessimism about Jokic's floor-to-ceiling ratio, especially with MPJ and Jamal Murray in, especially with some alternatives on the slate, the Cats, the KDs, guys like that, Trae Young, the Cats and the KDs, and the Silver Spoon. I don't know. Anyway, if you trust this game to stay close, Jokic is projected for one of the highest raw fantasy points on the slate. So if you think raw points mean more today than usual, go for it. I wouldn't be without Jokic here, but I'm certainly a little bit trepidatious of the spread here. So I wouldn't have Jokic as a tier 1 for me. He's probably going to fall as a tier 3 exposure level kind of guy for me. And then, yeah, you guys mentioned Jamal Murray. I'm getting a solid projection on him, 35, almost 6x that price point. And Michael Porter Jr. also getting around 30. I think this rotation could get a little bit iffy. Bones Highland is questionable, so is Ish Smith. So let's see if we can get an update on those two. Highland is questionable with left hip strain, and Ish Smith is questionable right calf strain. If they both miss, it would boost up Jamal Murray's floor in minutes, and then probably Bruce Brown as a potential backup minute wise. They both missed the last game, right? Let's see, against the Thunder. Yeah, they did. And Brown played a lot, 31 minutes. So maybe we'd keep an eye on Bruce Brown as a potential value play, or at least a late swap option if you need to get more creative. If we lose Highland and Ish Smith, I have Bruce Brown right now at about 28 minutes, hopefully a point per minute. And then if the game lived up to a double-digit point spread, maybe Brown has an opportunity to close out and do a little bit more. So maybe something to put in our back pocket. Right now, I wouldn't be committed to it, but if news developed throughout the night and I needed to late swap, get a little bit different in lineups that were failing or succeeding based on the the individual needs there, I might work with that. The San Antonio Spurs are looking like they're going to be pretty annoying when they're healthy like this. I was looking at the minute rotation in that last outing against the Clippers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of their 10-man rotation saw 19 or more minutes, and just 2 guys saw over 30 minutes, and that was Trey Jones and Keldon Johnson. And we saw Devin Vassell come off the bench. That's annoying, right? Like, I love sinking my teeth into guys that, 36, 37, 38 minutes. And we saw them start Branham over Devin Vassell. And I don't know if that's going to be something going forward that they keep doing. Do they just have these 2 different units that are just like 2 different basketball teams going at it? I'm just kind of like talking my way to not being that excited to get to the Spurs. Trey Jones, tier 3 stocking stuffer if I'm trying to fill out a portfolio of lineups. Devin Vassell, I'm worried that he didn't start, but I feel like he's more than likely going to be their best scorer. And then Keldon Johnson is also averaging over 22 points per game. So maybe Pop's just trying to stagger his best scorers a little bit more to kind of flatten the game. But what it's doing is become really, really annoying to project and really, really hard to commit to any of these guys at a high level for fantasy. So that's my stance here. I don't think I would get to tier 2 levels of interest on San Antonio unless we got some people ruled out, right? Like I need Keldon Johnson out to really like a Trey Jones or Devin Vassell here. And I actually ran usage rate earlier for the 4, and Trey Jones and Pirtle were like close to 20%, while KJ was at the 27. So even the usage rates are like in the 20s. So it's just pretty balanced and hard to pinpoint one guy to really, really spike it. Looking at DVP success, guards have been performing better in terms of fantasy points than centers. So if that means anything to you, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, but I think I'm going to be pretty down on Spurs exposure. And yeah. All right, we got only one game left on a docket. Take a pause for the cause and shout out our presenting sponsor, PrizePicks. If you are not on PrizePicks and you like simplifying your approach day to day, you should definitely be on PrizePicks. You probably are by now, but if you're not, sign up using code GUNDACKER. They'll double your first deposit up to $100, and they support the stream when you do that. You can put together 5 picks, prop-based picks, over-unders, and it doesn't have to just to be NBA. You can combine it with NFL picks, baseball picks, World Series, first half, college football is going, hockey, so much stuff. And my favorite thing about PrizePicks is you can bet against the fantasy score, and that's something that's pretty native to what I've already been doing. I had already have a model to project for FanDuel. It's linear scoring over there, so that's where I really lean on the most, is to take shots at fantasy scores. But yeah, give it a shot. It's a great way to make slates like last night, the big slates where there's so much developing news, easier. Like you want some action, you want something to watch, but you ain't got all night to late swap and react to news. I think PrizePicks is the ultimate solution to that. So I'll try and collect 4 or 5 of my favorite picks. I'll throw them in the free Discord. The link to that Discord's in the description below, and I'll also have it in the premium Discord over at rundfs.com. If you guys want in on that, click VIP memberships on the main page at rundfs.com. Grab something that's right for you. This is a good time to grab a week pass because you're going to get tonight and the rest of the week for NBA, but you also get NFL coverage for tomorrow. So that's good. And then when you do grab yourself a subscription, go over to the VIP portal. There's going to be links to the spreadsheets, but most importantly, a link to the rundfs.com VIP Discord, which looks like this. Once you get in here, look for us in the voice chat. Today, I will be in the voice chat for the next couple hours until lock, making my player pool. Sunday afternoon is a little bit lighter. Sunday afternoon for NFL locks, using my day off, but I might try and muscle some coverage tomorrow night because there are no NBA games on Tuesday. So Tuesday's just kind of like a straight up full day off. So just so I feel like I'm not, cheaping you guys, I'll try and get some coverage tomorrow. But I don't even know what tomorrow looks like, actually. Anyway, get in there, sign up, get access to the spreadsheets, get access to the Discord. What does tomorrow's slate look like? Steven Adams sleeper yesterday. Steven Adams went off yesterday. That's tomorrow's a bad slate too, though. So maybe I don't want to make false promises here. You guys see this? What's on Tuesday, guys? Help me out. There's something that's happening too. Is there like a national championship on Tuesday? That, you know what I mean? TG Gaming, man, I appreciate that sub. Welcome to the channel. But there's no games on Tuesday. But I do. Speaking of that, on Wednesday, our boy Noah is going to jump on here with us. So we're going to break down the big Wednesday slate with DFS Noah. You guys have definitely seen his channel, so that'll be fun. Monday, bear with me on the schedule. I double booked myself yesterday, and that got me in trouble. And on Monday, I have a similar situation. So if I do go live on Monday, it might be earlier. But I also wonder, like, if maybe I just put up some video content. I don't know. Monday's a big slate. I definitely don't want no content. I don't want yesterday to happen all over again, but I'll figure that out later. Jaylen Browns or Anthony Edwards. I'd probably lean Anthony Edwards, but that's a coin flip. How much does someone have to win before DK limits their account? You mean for like sports betting? I've heard DK is pretty reasonable with their limits. GG Trent, what up, Trent? The homie. I think they want to. Oh, it's for voting. I want to give players a day off to go vote. Not even American. I've never voted. Priyanshu Desai. Appreciate the sub. I hope I got somewhere close on your name. Appreciate the sub. Election day's on Tuesday? Okay. Well, that makes sense. Gun, don't read. Alright. I'm glad you said gun, don't read this, because I was about to read that. Alright, main event tonight, boys and girls. Portland Trail Blazers at the Phoenix Suns, back-to-back. Project starting 5 for the Blazers. Shaedon Sharpe, not Anthony Simons. Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic taking on Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton. We got 217 total and 11-point spread on in favor of the Phoenix Suns. And then we can look at what happened last night. So if you guys missed it, last night the Blazers won on a Jeremy Grant. Wasn't a putback. He got it was a pass, and he took like 2 steps, didn't dribble, and then made the shot. Just kind of a heartbreaker. So the Suns, I believe their 2 losses are against the Blazers. But we can maybe replicate what we saw last night in terms of minute rotation expectations from the Department of Redundancy Department. Justice Winslow started, and it was Sharpe, Hart, Winslow, Nurkic, Jeremy Grant. With Simons confirmed down again today, that's probably your run back lineup. Will they keep it competitive for a 3rd straight game? You would have to give them enough credit to do so. Vegas went back to respecting Phoenix with an 11-point spread. I mentioned earlier that Chris Paul's real points was kind of staggering low, shockingly low. Just 7 on 1 field goal made. I don't think that holds up if he's going to play again tonight. But for the most part, I at least feel a little bit better about the ability of the Blazers to keep this game close. Jeremy Grant's probably too cheap here on both sides. Josh Hart looking pretty solid. And then Yusuf Nurkic, I think he kind of gets priced out based on what I'm going to do elsewhere in my lineups. You know, getting Cat as a priority in the center spot. But he still makes sense. DeAndre Ayton, night 2 of a back-to-back. Last night, he had... just 30 minutes of gameplay, dropped 24 real points, 34 fantasy points, but he had 5 fouls. So if he could stay out of foul trouble here, maybe Ayton's got some more minutes coming his way. Looking at DeAndre Ayton from last night, didn't even look like, yeah, he lost a little bit of time here in the 4th quarter, maybe a little burst, but I still think maybe 30 minutes is about the expectation that we would have. Maybe he checks in a little bit more, so maybe he's got 33 minutes if the game stays a little bit more competitive. We've seen him play as much as 38 in the earlier this season game against Portland, but I would probably say 30 minutes is a responsible projection, so we'll just stick with that. And they have Biyombo to back him up. But Ayton's at 67 on DK. I'm fine with that price point, but like I said, I think center is going to be a lot of Hartenstein and Karl-Anthony Towns for me tonight. So these guys are more so tertiary options, but I think Jeremy Grant is probably going to be a standout for me. So let's see what the official usage rate is in our short sample so far this season of no Simons, no Lillard. Cameron Johnson is out. All right. How much Winslow is enough? Oh no. If you've been around the block, man, playing Winslow is a traumatic pastime. But he has had some really good games this season, so we just have to get over it. I'll put Grant on. I think Grant has a shot to lead the team in minutes. So we got about 40 minutes of Jeremy Grant without Simons and Lillard. 31% usage rate, 1.1 fantasy point per minute. on DraftKings, over 1 on FanDuel. Winslow is also up there as well. His official usage rate isn't high, but his per minute production is really doggone swell. Let's put that one. 1.2 with a 21.5% usage rate, 40% assist rate, or 38.5% assist rate. Last night, any small forward, power forward eligible? Yeah, he's gonna be so easy to fit in there. Flirted with a triple double. Yeah, we're gonna get some more Winslow than my heart would want. But that assist rate is really nice. So, do we have a line for Winslow assists? No, we just have fantasy. And I didn't adjust for Simons yet. And I was already getting really close to that fantasy projection that PrizePicks has. So I might lean the over on that fantasy line. So I'll gladly take Winslow shares, Hart shares, Jeremy Grant shares. At 150, I'd take a kiss of Nurkic, but not too enthralled. And then Devin Booker. And what'd you guys say? Cam Johnson's out? I missed that. How did I miss that? Or unless it just came out. Oh, Cameron Payne rolled out. Josh Hart rolled. Cameron Johnson's out. Okay. I appreciate that, chat. So, no Johnson, no Payne. I guess that makes us feel a little bit better about Chris Paul. What would that do? Maybe they stretch out Mikal Bridges to the 4. Let's see. Fudge. I keep Xing it out. Winslow's 85 years old. He's not that old. Relax. Let's piece together some Phoenix Suns here, would you? Both Cameron's out. Let's go. So Johnson only played 5 minutes last night, and Cameron Payne didn't play at all. So when Johnson went down, Torrey Craig picked up the slack, and then they closed out with Damian Lee. Where did he used to play? Was he with Golden State? So that would be my guess, is that they try to go Damian Lee or Torrey Craig. And we've seen Torrey Craig start in the past. So that's that. Damian Lee or Torrey Craig. So I'm going to add Torrey Craig to the... actually, I'll just put Torrey Craig here. Bridges type night. You think so? I don't hate it. Torrey Craig can definitely be a mouth breather. What did Craig ultimately produce last night? 19 fantasy points. 6. Okay. Alright, so I gotta go adjust those projections, but that makes me fine with Chris Paul exposure. This is one of the lowest totals on the entire slate, so I'm not going to get overly invested on this opportunities to pick up some slack, but I'm going to be there. So just from what we've talked about, what I really want tonight is, in short entry, I want to hang my hat on Cat and Durant for sure. If Giannis gets rolled out in a 6-point spread, undefeated, Drew Holiday 8,400 seems too free. Isaiah Hartenstein looks like an insane value. That'll probably be a really, really solid start there. And then going to the projections, I haven't accounted for the Simons and Winslow situation yet. What is Winslow's price? 49. Yeah, unfortunately, that would probably have to be. That dog's gonna have to hunt. Put that in the blender. 4,200. Would love to have something a little bit cheaper to open up a little bit more salary here, but that's how I'm gonna start. Nas Reed also looking pretty solid. So this is probably something I would want to work around. Something like this. And it gives me 46 per for guard and shooting guard. I can't give you guys full lineups here, but just based on what we just talked about, these are names that have kind of stuck with me. And then if he did lose Giannis, maybe Grayson Allen looks like a better click. Somebody that can pick up some scoring. And if that happened, just if, it might give us 5,200 for a guard spot. KCP, Noel, none of that feels great. Anyway, what you guys got, chat? Throw me some questions, comments, concerns. I'll try and get you guys out of here within 10 minutes. If you are getting out of here, all I ask you hit that thumbs up. Double check, see if you're subscribed. We're well on our way to 8,000 subs, which is so good. So happy. And yeah, we'll go from there. Winslow probably. Bridges 40 minutes. Yeah, you like McCall? All right, let's see how McCall benefited yesterday. I remember last year I would be slamming the McCall Bridges PRA in scenarios like this. He ended up playing 37 minutes, and his PRA used to be like at 25. So if we get more power forward McCall Bridges, we got a 22.5 PRA. Guys. That might get me in trouble. 17, 18, 19. Maybe I'm over interested. That's probably an efficient line, but the heart wants what the heart wants. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, man. We'll see. What's the usage for Devin Booker? He leads the team in usage. Him and Ayton lead the team in usage, but Booker's at the highest. I'll get you the actual number, though. By the way, if you guys ever want to try it, the site, I don't know. I have a link. I use addmorefunds.com. 1 second, I'll get you a link. Really, really good. And I will say this, last year when I was using this site, oftentimes it would go really slow for me. I haven't had that issue so far this season, so they've made some really nice adjustments. So there's a link. If you ever want to try it, they have some really good premium Wowie product. Yeah, use that link. It shows me some love. Curry or Watanabe from Brooklyn? Yikes. Jesus. Start over. Now, I mean, I guess if Curry's going to be off the leash, like if you think, but Seth Curry and Joe Harris just feel like the same play to me. Watanabe at least has a history of giving us a little bit of a floor for peripherals, and we love bigs against Charlotte. So probably Watanabe. That's just because I like to stay away from scoring dependent type of players. So probably Watanabe. Maybe Bridges over RJ Barrett for same price. Maybe. Oh, I was trying to get you the official Devin Booker usage, but Devin Booker leads the team. It's like 30%. Any mid low tier guards? I have none of that pop. None that pop. Devin Booker overall leads the Suns at a 31.4% usage rate. DeAndre Ayton second at 28%. So that's the official numbers. Any guards that pop? Was that a DraftKings question, Sten? Let's see. I definitely have to reshuffle a lot of this stuff. Let me just see what's popping at, like, I don't know, under 4K, you know? Or we'll say under 4,500. Like any Cam Thomas. Not specifically. We mentioned, so Hater Anzo, I don't know if you were here earlier. Somebody brought up Cam Thomas. I don't want to get you off of Cam Thomas. If you're on it, you got that feeling in your mad knee. But just know that last night Cam Thomas basically played the entire fourth quarter. He closed out. And fourth quarter isolated, 8 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds, so 14 PRA in the fourth quarter. That was a 40-point game. So I do worry about that number not being what it is, and then with Seth Curry being available or not on the injury report. So I am a little bit more pessimistic. But if you can get a minute projection for Cam Thomas at over 20 and feel good about it, don't let me talk you down. If we lose Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'll probably buy in on a guy like Grayson Allen. Pick up some scoring. Remember, this team is without guys like DiVincenzo, moving on. So I think Grayson Allen could be a sneaky guy to pick up some of this 32 points per game slack. So maybe that's a guard I would lean on. Yeah, it was with no Curry. And then if Quentin Grimes doesn't play, Evan Fournier appears to be in the doghouse. I would hate to have to co-sign punting a Knicks guard, but it's certainly viable that another guard not named Fournier gets a call up to the starting lineup and an opportunity. But for the most part, yeah, value guard is pretty hard right now. So it is NBA. We are bound to have more and more news. So make sure you're on Twitter following the news, or if you're in one of the Discords. We have a free Discord that puts the news in there as well. So check that out. All right. So don't quote me on what Monday's schedule is. I'm going to try to get some type of live form content. Unfortunately, it might have to be like much earlier than I want it. So I usually go live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. It might have to be like 2 p.m. just to fit the schedule that I signed up for, What about Jordan Nwora? Definitely possible. I would lean more towards like Bobby Portis and guys like that, but it depends on how much of a garbage crew that they throw out. I would assume if it's just Giannis, you would see Portis in. And we have a game without Giannis, right? I feel like we do. I could be wrong. Maybe we don't. Maybe I'm just making this up. I think I'm just making this up. Yeah, we don't. All right. But Nwora was the guy I leaned on a few times last year in that spot. But I don't really need more value forwards unless Nwora's. Yeah, he's just a forward. I don't really need to fill the forward spot up with value. I would like more guard value. Can you show Aaron Gordon usage now that Jamal Murray's back? I would assume Gordon is 4th on the team in usage, but we'll look at it. So we'll put Murray and Jokic on. Gordon comes in with a 20% usage rate, which is 4th on the team in usage. So as expected, only KCP with a lower one. Hey guys, twitter.com/gundackers where you guys can get at me. I'm going to be in the rundfs.com VIP voice chat for the next couple of hours, making the player pool, sweeping some projections. If you guys want to be part of that, go to rundfs.com, get yourself signed up. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Monday. I appreciate you guys as always making part of my day, be part of your day. Please, please, please hit that thumbs up and tell somebody you love them. You just never know. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless them and go win some money.